I'm with Lucy. Welcome to SquareOne's first online e-Pilates class. I trust you're all at home with your mats ready to go. So find a clear space, lie it out there, make sure you've got some room around you. We're going to pitch the mat class today at about an intermediate level with some options up or down. If you have any injuries or pathologies that you're nursing, please modify for your own capabilities. I'm sure you all know how to do that. Us physios should have been drilling that into you for ages by now. And Lucy, let's begin. Lying on your back, please. Head up, descend. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with the knees bent and the feet flat onto the floor. We're going to take a big inhale breath in through the nose and a big exhale breath out the mouth. Just starting to slow down our breathing, breathing into the belly, feeling the lungs expand and feeling like we're melting down into our mats. Excellent. Let's take a few more big deep breaths here. Checking in with our body, just having a little scan, seeing how it's feeling, and feeling like we're melting into the floor. Lovely. So we'll go in through the nose and relaxed breath out the mouth. What we're going to do now is we're going to send our attention to our pelvis. So we're going to imagine that we're lying on a clock. So 6 will be underneath our pubic bone, 12 will be underneath our belly button, and then 3 and 9 both of our hips respectively. We're going to take a big inhale breath, and then we're going to tilt the pelvis towards our belly button, so down towards 6. And then as we inhale, we're going to roll the pelvis the other way, have a little arch underneath our back, down to the 12, and then exhale, tuck and imprint the pelvis. Lovely. Inhale, roll the pelvis the other way, finding a little arch underneath our lower back, and exhale, tucking the pelvis, imprinting back down. Lovely. Inhale, rolling it the other way. So what we're doing at the moment is we're rolling the marble from 12 to 6. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to appreciate how as we're moving our pelvis, it affects the position of our spine onto the mat. Now, if any of these exercises on our back get a little bit too challenging for us, this is the exercise for us to come back to. This is a really good home base. Lots of benefits to be got from moving the pelvis, working on our lumbar mobility. Now, from here, remember how I told you that you're lying on a clock? What we're going to do is we're going to start to add the rest of the numbers to the clock. So we're going to tuck the pelvis towards the belly button, so flattening the lower back. And then as we inhale, we're going to roll the pelvis around towards the right hip bone, down towards 6, towards 12, towards the other hip bone, and then imprinting the pelvis back up again. So like we're rolling a marble around the clock face. Very nice. Now, as we're doing this movement here, I'd like our knees to stay still in space, like you've got a little imaginary ball in between your knees. Very nice. Now you might find you have some little sticky spots in there or some spots that don't want to go there too much. If they're painful, we don't need to go to that spot, but if it's just feeling a little bit stiff, really focus on that spot and roll the pelvis around into it. Excellent. Now from here, we're going to move in the reverse direction. So coming back to the center, tucking the pelvis up towards the belly button, and then going around towards the left hip bone, down to the pelvis, arching underneath our lower back, and then coming around to the right, and then imprinting the lower back, moving around in a circle. What we might find is we might find that this way is a little bit easier or maybe a little bit more challenging than the other side. Perfectly normal. Now we're going to do 3 more pelvic clocks in this direction, and make sure that we're still remembering and taking the time to breathe. So as we move in the direction of imprinting our spine, we exhale, and as we move in the direction of arching the spine, we inhale. From here, Let's bring our pelvis back to a neutral position. So a neutral position means you're exactly in the middle of that pelvic clock with the pelvis neither arched nor imprinted, and both of the hip bones are level, like you've got a tray of champagne across the top of them. We're going to take a big inhale breath to prepare, and then as we exhale, we're going to float the right leg up into a tabletop position here. Pause here in this position, everyone, for a moment, and make sure that your thigh bone is vertical and your shin bone is horizontal. So Lucy needs to lower this a little bit more here. Lovely. This is our tabletop position. Pelvic clock is right in the middle and the marble is balanced in the middle of the pelvis. Now from here, we're going to place this foot back down onto the earth into its footprint. And then keeping the pelvis level, we'll float the left leg up into our tabletop position again. Pausing here, thigh bone vertical, shin bone horizontal, and then inhale as we lower the foot back down to the earth. Very good. Let's float our right leg up into a tabletop position. Good. Pausing here. Then bring your left leg up into the tabletop position as well. Aim to keep that pelvis still and in the center. Now from here, we're going to inhale to prepare, and as we exhale, we're going to stretch this leg long towards whatever you've got in your house. Inhale as you fold it back into here, and then exhale as you stretch the leg long that way there. Inhale to bring it back in again, and then exhale, stretching the right leg out long. So Lucy here's stretching her toes out towards the mirror, but if you'd like to challenge your tummy a little bit more, let's take this leg longer and lower, folding it back in, and then stretch the other leg out long and low. Nice. Now we're really having to draw our tummy muscles on as we do this. We're keeping that little neutral curve underneath our lower back, and that marble is staying right in the middle of that pelvic clock that we practiced. You might not be able to see it from here, but Lucy's starting to exhibit some little shakes, meaning her abdominal muscles are starting to work. This is good. Now, if this is enough for you, you stay here, or if you'd like to challenge yourself a little bit further, we're going to move into a double leg extension. So, bring the legs together, inhale to prepare, and then exhale, stretch them both out long, and then inhaling back in. Just to what feels right for your back this afternoon, sorry. And if we're starting to feel it in the back, don't go so low, but if you want to feel more of a challenge, take the legs a little bit lower. Beautiful. Now, whichever version we're doing, we're going to stretch the leg or legs out, and we're going to hold it here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, folding it back in, and then for the people doing one leg, stretch the other leg out. Lucy's going to do both legs again, and holding it here for another 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful work, Lucy. Bring it back in, pop those feet back down onto the ground and give your knees a little cuddle in towards your chest. Yep. And we'll just take the knees side to side, have a little stretchy out for our lower back. Beautiful. And let's place both of the feet back down onto the mat. We're going to interlace the fingers behind the back of the head, everyone. We're going to have the elbow tips in our peripheral vision or in our side eyes here. Again, we're going to keep our pelvis in that very neutral position where we found our pelvic clock. We're going to take an inhale breath here, and then as we exhale, we're going to start to peel up into a chest lift, looking towards our belly button, coming up to the tips of our shoulder blades here. From here, we're going to inhale and reach the arms long and take hold of the back of our thighs. Lovely. Oops, so keep the leg down there, Lucy. There. And then we're going to exhale as we curl up a little higher using the arms, but keeping our pelvis in a neutral position. Take the hands back behind the head, staying in your chest lift, and then roll back down through the spine there. Take an inhale breath to rest. Exhale, curling up into our chest lift. Pelvis stays still. Inhale, reach the arms long, take hold of the back of the legs. Exhale, curling up a little higher. Use the arms, Lucy, that's what they're there for. Take the hands back behind the head, stay lifted, and rolling back down through the spine. We're going to do a few more of these. Key points I'd like us to look out for. Make sure this pelvis stays in a neutral position, so you've got that little bit of an arch underneath your lower back, and we're not imprinting. Marble stays in the middle. Exhale, curling up. Inhale, reach the arms long, take hold of the thighs. Exhale, deepen the curve here, everyone. Take the hands back behind the head and then roll back down again. Fantastic. We'll do 2 more of these together. Inhale here and exhale, curling up. Inhale, reach the arms long. Widen through the elbows like you've got little helium balloons underneath them. Hands come back behind the head and rolling down. Beautiful. 1 more here, everyone. And we all curl up, reach the arms long, curl up a little higher, take the hands behind the head, pause here. Now, if this gets too much for your neck, we can come back down, but like Lucy, we're going to bring the right leg up into a tabletop position, bring the left leg up into a tabletop position, and we're going to exhale as we stretch the right leg out long and low. Inhale to bring it back in, and then exhale, stretch the left leg out long and low. Lovely. Continue with this, Lucy, alternating sides. So we've already practiced this movement in the class. We're keeping the pelvis still, the marble in the middle of it here, and the longer and the lower that we go with the leg, the more we're going to start to challenge our abdominal muscles. Make sure that as we're doing it, we're staying right up on the very tips of our scapulas or our wing bones. Excellent. Should be feeling that nice sense of warmth in through our tummy muscles. Now, stretch one leg out long. Pause here. Hold it for 6, 5. Peel up a little bit higher. Thank you, Lucy. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg back in and stretching the leg back out. Good. Now, a little bit higher. We hold it again here for 6, 5. Lower it down a little bit more, Lucy and everyone. Thank you. 4, 3, 2, 1. Folding it back in and 1 foot back down to the earth, followed by the other foot. Head comes down. Keep cradling the head and then just take the head side to side to give our neck a little stretchy. Excellent. Nice. Now, from here, let's bring the arms back down by the sides. We're going to have the palms down flat. Pelvis is in a neutral position to start with. We're broad and wide through our collarbones like we're melting. Take a big inhale breath, and then we're going to tuck our tailbone, imprint our lower back, and start to peel up into a bridge, coming up 1 vertebra at a time. And again, we just come to the very tips of our shoulder blades or our wing bones. We take a big inhale breath into the side and the back of the ribcage here. And as we exhale, we peel down and imprint every vertebra all the way down, and then roll the pelvis back into a neutral position into the middle of that clock that we found at the start of the class. Inhaling here again, Lucy. Exhale, peeling up. Just to the tips of our shoulder blades, so we're not coming up too high, just high enough that we're in a scooped and rounded position here. Inhale there, and exhale, rolling back down. Rolling the pelvis back into a neutral position. Beautiful. We'll do 3 more of these. Now, as we're doing the next 3, let's just pay a little bit more attention to what's happening in our upper body. Let's make sure that the shoulders are relaxed and melting onto the mat. And that we're using our deep breaths. Lovely. This time, rolling up to the top of our bridge and pausing here. Now, we're going to now identify which is our right hip and which is our left hip, and we're going to again place that marble into the middle of the pelvis. From here, we're going to roll the marble to our right pelvis by lifting the left hip up. Marble rolls down to the right pelvis. Bring the hips back to the center, and then lift the right hip and lower the left one as we roll the marble to the left pelvis. Back to the center again, and then rolling the marble across to the right hip. Lovely. Lucy's going to continue doing this for a moment, but what we need to make sure is happening is that both of the knees are still pointing up towards the ceiling. We maintain that same distance between the knees. Now, with our bridges, we're about to do some single leg bridges. If these are a little bit too challenging for you, that's cool. You've got 2 options. You can either stick with the double leg bridge, or you can work on the side to side pelvis movement here. whilst we do the single leg bridges. Benefits to be got from both of those options. Now, if you're up to the single leg bridges, we're going to bring our pelvis back to the center here. Now, we keep that marble exactly in the middle of the pelvis. We're going to take an inhale breath to prepare, and as we exhale, we'll float the right leg up into a tabletop position here. Remember, we found this at the start of the class with the thigh bone vertical and the shin bone horizontal. Fantastic, Lucy. Lower that foot back down to its same footprint, and then exhale, we'll float the left leg up into a tabletop position. Beautiful. Finding that vertical thigh, horizontal shin. Excellent. Foot comes back down into its footprint. Let's lift the right leg up again. And inhale to lower it back down. Excellent. Whilst we're doing this, we're going to continue to alternate feet. I want you to focus on a few key points here. Key point number 1, both of the hip bones are level with each other. And the second key point is that the knees are still pointing up towards the ceiling here, and that knee is not deviating out towards the side. So if you imagine a little smiley face drawn on your patella, on your kneecap, it's smiling up towards the roof at all times. Beautiful. Now, bring the right leg up into a tabletop position. This is the next level of challenge. So if it's not right for you, stick with the version before. Take an inhale breath here, Lucy. And as you exhale, you're going to roll down and imprint every vertebra one at a time and roll the pelvis back to neutral here. Take another inhale breath. And as you exhale, curl the tailbone under, peeling up. Pelvis still stays level with each other. Excellent. Inhale here and exhale, rolling back down. Now what's happening here is if your left leg is on the floor, you're going to be feeling lots of work. Keep going, Lucy. You're going to be feeling, oh, that was a bit growly, wasn't it? You're going to be feeling lots of work through the back of your hip into your glutes and into your hamstrings. So this exercise is all for the supporting leg. Fabulous. 2 more of these, Miss Lucy. Still using the breath. And taking a moment to run through the checklist of things that we thought before. Shoulders are melting down into the mat, soft and relaxed through our neck, and relaxed muscles of facial expression. Beautiful. Pausing up here, Miss Lucy. Place this foot down onto the floor, and then we'll bring our left leg up into the tabletop position. Excellent. Thigh bone vertical, shin horizontal. Take another inhale breath. And as you exhale, rolling down. Lovely. Keep this bone here vertical and peeling back up again. Excellent. Inhale at the top of this bridge and exhale, rolling back down. Beautiful. Lovely. We'll do 5 more of these so we're even. And what I want us to think about, even as we're rolling up and rolling down, these 2 hip bones remain level with each other. So remember that little marble that we rolled side to side? Keep that perched right in the middle of your pelvis. Thigh bone is vertical, shin remains horizontal. Excellent. Supporting knee stays pointing up towards the roof. Fantastic work, everyone. I can't see you all, but if I did, I'm sure you're all doing a brilliant job. I miss you all. Can't wait to see you all soon. Now, rolling up to the top. Pause here. Place this foot back down onto the earth here. And let's roll back down out of our bridge. All the way down. And let's give both of our knees a big cuddle in towards our chest again. And we're just going to take the knees side to side, having a little stretch here. Beautiful. Now, from here, place the hands back down onto the earth next to the pelvis. We're going to leave our legs together into a tabletop position here. So thigh bones are vertical, shins horizontal. Take the hands just a little bit wider out towards the side. So they're about 45 degrees on either side of your body. Let's now keep the knees together and the insides of the ankles and the insides of the big toes together. From here, we're going to again identify which is your right hip and which is your left hip. We're going to now roll a marble from our left hip to our right hip, and we're going to take the knees across to the right and lift the left hip up off the ground a little bit. Good. Back into the center, and then we roll the marble now to the left hip by lifting the right side of the pelvis. Excellent. Bring the legs back into tabletop here again. Lovely. Let's take the legs across to the right, back into the center, and then across to the left. Now in this movement here, this is called the side to side. We're aiming to keep both of our shoulders pressing down into the mat evenly, and we're getting the rotation from our lower back. And what this is going to do, this is going to send the work into the oblique muscles through the front of the body. And we want to go as far as we can without the opposite shoulder lifting up off the mat. Beautiful. Good. 2 more, Lucy. If this is a bit too challenging for your lower back, then we can do it with your feet on the floor. Lovely. 1 more either side. Beautiful. Good. Keep that opposite shoulder pressing down, and bring the legs back into a tabletop position. Legs remain up here, and let's take the hands behind the back of the thighs. We're going to take an inhale breath, and as we exhale, we're going to tuck our chin to our chest. We're going to start to peel up, pop the feet onto the floor, coming into a seated position and coming upright here. The knees remain bent. Take an inhale breath. Lucy fixes her hair, and as we exhale, start the movement from the pelvis. We're going to roll down, imprint every vertebra. When the feet are ready, they'll pop up off the mat and we'll come all the way back down to lying on our back. Excellent. Inhale breath here, and exhale, chin to chest, starting to curl up again. Press the hands into the legs and rolling up, feet down flat, sitting up very tall. Lovely. Lucy will continue with this movement. This is called an assisted roll-up. Now, if the assisted roll-up is a little bit too challenging for you this afternoon, then we just stick with our bridges. Remember where we stay with the feet flat, lifting the hips up and down. Though this movement should be accessible to most of you. I know most of you. Sitting up nice and tall and rolling back down again. Lovely. We'll do 2 more assisted roll-ups. Good. So using the breath. Exhale, curling up. Place the feet down when they need. Stay curled, and then bones stack up tall at the end. And exhale, rolling back down all the way. Beautiful. 1 more here. And coming up. Lovely. And we'll roll down, and we'll make this your best one yet, Miss Lucy. Beautiful. And let's pop the feet back down onto the floor, and we're going to roll onto our sides facing that way, Lucy. So lying on our right side, everyone. So we've got our left knee, our left leg on the top. We're going to take the underneath arm underneath our head like it's a little pillow. Now from here, we're going to maintain our underneath waist lifted a little bit here. We're going to inhale to prepare, and as we exhale, we're going to float this top leg up. Now, the position that I want you to nail here is I want your hip bone, your knee bone, and your ankle bone to be parallel to the floor in line with each other. Lucy's now going to take an inhale breath to prepare, and as she exhales, we're going to all carry this leg forward, keeping the leg bent at 90 degrees, and then inhale, take the leg back as far behind us as we can, keeping the knee bent at 90 degrees and the pelvis still. Exhale, carry the leg forward again, and then inhale to take it back. Good, so Lucy needs a little bit lower with the foot, a little bit higher with the knee. Oop, too high now, Lucy. Perfect. Lovely. Now this is going to work into our glute med muscle here onto the side of the hip. What I'd like us to do whilst we're doing this is make sure that we're keeping that little lift underneath our waist and that the knee is staying bent at 90 degrees. We're going to do a few more exercises here with this leg bent. If these get a little bit too challenging for us, this is the model that I'd like you to stay with, okay? Now, if you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, We're going to then stretch this leg out long. We're going to curl the toes up towards our nose, and then we're going to bring this leg forward like we're kicking a sport ball, a soccer ball. Point the foot and then take the leg back. There goes my credibility as a sports physio, lucky I do ballet. And bring the leg back. Excellent. 3 more of these, Lucy. Lovely. And notice how she's keeping her hip, her knee, and her ankle all in line with each other. Beautiful. Then let's bring this leg forward. Excellent. Keep it at about just shy of 90 degrees in front of you. And we're going to do little pumps up and down here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, should be getting good, 2, 1, take it back a little bit, pause here, and little pumps up and down for 10, 9, should be feeling some nice warmth in the side of the hip here, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then bring this leg all the way back so it's in line with the body. So, yep, up and down here again for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's bend this knee here. Pop that leg down on top of that leg there. Give your bottom a little bit of a pat down if it's sore. You should have felt that into your side hip muscles. Now, from here, what we're going to do, this top leg, this complete setup's a little bit tricky, so listen. We're going to bring the left leg onto the floor in front of us. That's the top leg. Now, the underneath leg stretches out long underneath us here. Again, we keep that little lift underneath the waist here. From here, we're going to inhale to prepare, and as we exhale, we're going to pick up the underneath leg here, keeping it long and straight, and then inhale to lower it back down and pause just a millimeter above the floor. So we exhale as we float it up, and then inhale, lowering it down just a millimeter above the floor. Excellent. Exhaling up, and then inhaling back down. Now what this is going to do, this is going to work the inside thigh muscles of this underneath leg. Excellent. And the goal is to keep this leg long and straight. So we're working into our long adductor muscles, maintaining the little lift underneath the waist here. Good. Lucy's concentrating so hard, everyone. You might not be able to see her, but she's got a light glisten, a sheen about her that I can tell she's working really hard. Now, from here, we're going to bring this leg up. We're going to pause here, and we're going to do little circles with this leg here. Lovely. And as we do our circles, I want us to go as far forward as far as we go back. So taking the full range of that circle. Not a big circle, but a complete circle. Lovely. 3 more this way. Keep breathing down there, Miss Lucy. Thank you. And then we'll do our circles in the reverse direction. Lovely. So around that way there. Good. Remembering to take the leg as far back as we take it forward. Nice. And we should be feeling a nice sense of warmth in this underneath inner thigh muscle. Lovely. Then lower that leg back down onto the ground, bend it, and then have the 2 legs stacked on top of each other here. We're now going to take this arm out long in front of us here into our book openings. So again, we want to make sure that the knees are bent, the hips are folded here, and the underneath waist is lifted. From here, as we move into our book opening, key point, let's nail this technique, that the hips are stacked on top of each other and the top knee stays stacked on top of that bottom knee. We're going to reach this top arm up towards the roof, and then we're going to allow our head and our body to twist and rotate out into our book opening, taking the gaze towards that back hand. Take an inhale breath here, and exhale, bring that arm back up and over, and then pop that hand down onto the floor in front of you there. Take an inhale breath there, and exhaling, opening up into our book opening. Stretching out through the front of the chest into our pectoral muscles. Inhaling here, and exhale, hand comes all the way back down onto the floor in front of us. Lovely. Let's do 3 more of these. Excellent. Just do that for you, Lucy. Beautiful book opening. And we'll do 1 more here, everyone. Excellent. Opening that arm up towards the roof, rotating out, and we'll take 3 really good deep breaths here. So every exhale, I'd like us to twist a little further, and a little further again, and bring that arm back up towards the roof, and lowering it back down here. And then we're going to rotate around to the other side. So Lucy, you'll pop your head up this end here so we can keep looking at your face. Lovely. And underneath arm bent. Again, we find the setup in our side lying position. Both of the knees are bent. The underneath pelvis, the underneath waist is lifted. We're going to float this entire top leg up off the bottom leg here, maintaining that little lift at the underneath waist. Now, from here, the knee stays bent to 90 degrees, and we exhale as we carry this leg forward. And then as we inhale, we're going to take the leg back as far back as we can, keeping the pelvis stacked and the knee bent at 90 degrees. Excellent. Exhale, carrying the leg forward. And then inhaling to take it back. Excellent work, everyone. Lovely. Let's keep this underneath waist lifted. Good. So we should be starting to feel that nice familiar sense of warmth in this muscle on the top of our hip, on the side of our hip here. We started discussing this on the other side. This is our gluteus medius muscle. Very important muscle for balance and also for hip and lower limb biomechanics. Beautiful. 3 more of these, Lucy. Keep that underneath waist lifted. Beautiful. Then, with this next one, we're going to stretch the leg out long here. We're going to curl the toes up towards our nose. Let's kick a soccer ball this time. Exhale as we bring the leg forward. And then inhale as we take the leg back. Excellent. Good. Exhaling to take it forward. Now again, remembering if this version's a little bit too challenging for you, doing it with a bent leg, you'll get lots of benefit out of that as well. Good. Now with this longer leg, especially important that we keep that lift underneath the waist. And I want you to think about your top sitting bone. As you bring the leg forward, curl your top sitting bone backward like you're about to sit into a chair. So we maintain that, yes, pelvic alignment. Then we'll move into the pumps. And again, if this is not right for us, then we stick with either the straight leg forward and backward, or we stick with the bent leg version. So we'll go up and down with this leg here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, always more challenging the second time, isn't it, Lucy? Yeah, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it back halfway, and another lot of pumps here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then take the leg back. So the heel, knee, hip, ear are all in line with each other. And 8, which is really down to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift it at the end. Enjoy that for a moment longer, everyone. And bend that front knee, pop it down in front of us, give the bottom a little bit of a pat down, Lucy, if you need it. Now, whilst we're doing that, we're going to stretch the underneath leg out long. We're going to have the top leg bent here. Again, find that setup of the underneath waist. Underneath leg is reaching really, really long. We take an inhale, breath to prepare here. Let's pop this hands down in front of your rib cage. Lucy, oh yeah, flat there, perfect. Now, we're going to inhale to prepare, and as we exhale, we're going to bring this leg up here, and then inhale, taking it back down. Good. Remembering now that we're working on the inside thigh of the underneath leg, and that our main goal here is to stay long through the knee. So no bent knees, legs have to be straight. Good. In terms of our breathing, the breathing pattern is exhaling up and then inhaling down. Very nice. Let's do 3 more of these. Now, if we try the circles on the other side and if they're not right for us, either have a rest or stay with the single straight leg lifts. Otherwise, come with us now. We're going to lift this leg up, keeping it long and straight, and we're going to start drawing our little circles here. Excellent. Nice. Now, remembering what I talked about on the other side is that with our leg circle, we want the leg to go as far back as we take it forward. So make sure you get that back corner of the circle. I like to think of, when you eat the tub of yogurt, you need to get right around the rim to get all of the rest of the yogurt out when you're eating that. Random little image. Then, let's move it in the reverse direction. Excellent. Keep that knee long and straight and aim to keep this thigh cleared up off the mat. Excellent, Lucy. Nice work. And let's lift this leg up a little higher at the end and lowering it back down. We'll bend both of the knees again and we're going to have the legs stacked on top of each other. Keep the underneath arm bent like it's a little pillow. Stretch the top arm out long in front of you. And again, just do that quick little checklist of your pelvic setup. So pelvis, top pelvis is stacked on the bottom pelvis, t-shirts are pulled down, knees are stacked on top of each other, and bring the right arm, the top arm up towards the roof. Pelvis stays stacked, and then twisting out. Lovely. Take a big inhale breath here, and exhale, bring that arm back up and over onto the ground in front of you. Take an inhale here, and exhaling, opening all the way up. What we're thinking about here is moving our ribs around into rotation. So it's not important how far or how close your hand gets to the ground. What's important is that we're moving your rib cage and having a gentle stretching through the front of the chest. This is really important for your breathing and your breathing mechanics to have good rib mobility. Lovely. We'll do 2 more of these. And Lucy's doing such a fantastic job of keeping her pelvis steady and her knees on top of each other. Nice. Then let's do 1 more book opening together, everyone. Opening that arm up towards the roof, rotating around, keeping the pelvis stacked, and we're going to take some really good deep breaths here together. So 3 deep breaths. And every exhale, we twist a little bit further, and a little bit further, and 1 more breath, twisting here, lovely, and bringing that arm back up here, and placing the hand back down onto the ground. Let's come up into our 4-point kneeling position, please, Lucy, so on hands and knees. Lovely, so we'll go hands down here. Excellent. Now, from here, we're going to have the shoulders wide and broad. We're going to take an inhale breath, and as we exhale, we're going to arch the back up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, come back through a long spine, and then looking up towards the roof, coming into extension. Excellent. Exhaling, coming back up. Now, this is a really good exercise for anybody who's now working from home, who's starting to get a little bit stiff and sore into their lower backs. Back into that extension exercise here. And then exhale, coming back up again. So really important that we maintain our mobility. Just tuck that tag away for you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Lovely. Excellent. We'll do 3 more of these. Now, if you'd like to stick with this version, you can stay here. Otherwise, let's do one more challenging thing to start to finish off before we do a few deep breaths together. We're going to come to our long position here. Excellent. Now we're going to slide the right arm and the left leg long along the mat. Lovely. And then when we can't slide them anymore, we'll float them up off the ground. Excellent. Finger and toe tap back down to the earth, and then sliding it back in, and then sliding the left arm and the right leg along the earth, floating them up, keeping the pelvis and the back steady and level, finger and toe tapping back down, and sliding it back in. Excellent. Right arm and left leg, everyone. Now the goal here is not to take the hand and the leg as high as they can, but the goal is length. Excellent. Fantastic. 2 more on either side, please, Lucy. Good. Maintain that lift. Beautiful. And you can see that she's maintaining lovely shoulder and neck organization. Her neck is long, like she's got a little IKEA pencil right here. Lovely, pausing there. Let's just hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finger and toe tap back down, sliding it in, and then stretching the left arm and the right leg out long, floating them up, pausing here, holding it for 5, 4, reach equal and opposite both directions, 3, 2, 1, finger and toe tap back down, sliding it all the way back in. Excellent. Then Lucy, let's lie on your back and we'll finish off with some deep breathing, everyone. So what we're going to do is we're going to place one hand onto our sternum, that's our chest bone here, and one hand onto our belly. Now, keeping the pelvis in a neutral position, we're going to either have the legs bent or stretched out, doesn't matter for this. What matters is that you're comfortable. And we're going to practice our deep breathing. So we're going to send our breath down into our belly hand. So as we inhale, let's feel the belly hand stretching and rising up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, belly hand melts back down. Good. Inhaling in through the nostrils, the belly hand rises. And exhale, belly hand falls. Excellent. Let's keep doing this. So this is called our diaphragmatic breathing in physio language. And this is a really good way of calming down our nervous system. Lovely. Now, we're going to keep that belly hand quiet and we're going to breathe into the upper hand now. So as we take the inhale breath, feel the sternum rise up to the ceiling and then exhale, it melts down. Good. Inhale, belly hand, sternum hand rises. Exhale, sternum hand falls. Lovely. Inhale, sternum rises. And this style of breathing is called our pump handle breathing. Excellent. And you might find that you have a bias towards one or the other, but the breathing style that I'd recommend for everybody at this point in time is that we go back to the belly hand breathing. So as we inhale, feel the belly rise and feel it fall. So we're just making sure we're getting all the air down into the bottom of the lungs. Excellent. So over the next couple of days, just remember our belly breathing. If we're stressed or worried about anything, just takes a few minutes lying down on your back to do some big belly breaths to help settle down the nervous system. Beautiful. next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing a few more videos. We'll go more into your breathing mechanics. We'll go more into some exercises that are going to be really good to help your lower back and anything with your hips or shoulders. And we'll have easier exercises and more challenging exercises. Lovely. And Lucy will have a seat up. And thank you very much, everyone, for our first virtual Pilates class. Hopefully we haven't gone too much over time, and that we'll iron the kinks out in the next couple of weeks to come, I promise. Thank you very much. I'll see you all soon. Bye.